what's up, people? This is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Jimmy Tollard of the Lonely Ones. He is joining me from his bus this evening. How we doing,
Yes,
buddy?
sir. Oh, doing well, man. Well, as you can guess, I'm driving the bus around, just leaving rehearsal, getting some stuff put together before the end of the night.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff's happened with the Lonely Ones since we last talked.
It
Um,
has.
I mean, for one, the departure of Jake, and then
Yep.
uh, True Roberts come along, and he's playing bass now, and you're playing guitar.
Yeah.
So, how did that come about? Just, I mean, I'm not really saying you got to tell me the whole story about Jake, but I mean, how did you go from bass to guitar?
Oh, it was nothing too fancy, really, man. I've always played guitar, almost as much as I played bass, just never in, a serious touring band or anything. And so when the need arose, we just figured, that was the easiest course of action was to get somebody that we trusted on bass, and I'd take over on guitar. And it's a lot of work. Everything is in the music industry, but it was a pretty smooth transition, all things considered.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you got, and then let's see, what else do we have happen? Oh, you guys were joined by Sean and did a little bit of a Bubba Flex kick there for a
Yes,
minute.
sir.
That had to be awesome. I mean, that guy's a ball of energy, anyways, and I mean, I'm sure that the fans were really glad to see it.
Yeah, yeah. It was a great time hanging out with Sean, doing some shows. We got another one coming up here in about a month, I think, right after Thanksgiving. Uh, we've always been great friends, so
Hmm.
it was nothing weird for us to get back and do a show together.
Right, right. Yeah, I remember when we talked, he had said that he was going to become a full-time dad, which admire that. Nothing wrong with that
Yeah.
at all. So yeah, and then let's see, what else did we have happen? Trying to think. Well, the you guys have just released a new single, "Bedroom Door."
Yes, sir.
Uh, good jam. You want to tell me about it?
Yeah, that's the first song we recorded with me on guitar, first song we released with me on guitar as well. Um, and it was just, we had this song kind of floating around that we weren't really satisfied with and decided to kind of take it on as a project for me on guitar, see what we could rewrite, redo, etc. And really just tried to hammer it in as kind of like a heavy, hard blues rock track.
Hmm.
Um, wanted to make it a little dancey, something you can shake your ass to. And I think we did a good job of that. It was kind of True's little mission statement on bass as well. He did a great job. That was our first time in the studio with him. Real easy guy to work with as well.
Right. So, I mean, you guys have gotten quite a bit of success with the Lonely Ones. I mean, we talked before about doing the remake of Flash, and then the recognition you got from Brian May and um, the guy that actually played Flash Gordon. I can't think of his name, but
Sam Jones.
yeah. And then I mean, you had Eternal Sadness, you had Getting High, now Bedroom Door. I mean. And I'm looking here at your bio. I mean, you guys have you're booked up from the 21st all the way to the 17th of December. So I mean, that's you guys are definitely getting out there and getting pretty big. It's got to feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, man. We never been ones to fuck around, waste time, waste energy. So, you know, trying to stay out as much as we can, grow, open for other bands, put out music, make money, put money back into it. It's a constant, semi uphill battle, but there's no rest for the wicked.
True, true. So I mean, what's is there another single coming out soon, or are you guys getting ready to like hit the studio again soon? I mean, what's the plans
Both,
for future music?
both, both. I don't know what our exact date is for when we'll be putting out another single. We can sit here and speculate about it all we want, but it really does depend on what Bedroom Door does and how that song moves. If if things go a certain way, we'll probably we'll probably kick out another song in the next couple months. But who knows? There's so many different variables with that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be going pretty good so far. I mean, you got 2.7 thousand, views in 4 days. So,
Mhm.
that's not shabby at all.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, but I mean, you guys have always had, Bowflex has always had like a huge following. And, then when you transferred to the Lonely Ones, I was kind of like, okay, what's going to happen to their fan base? And it seems like, everybody stuck true with you guys.
yeah, yeah. And the people that were a little more into Boba Flex thing, certain people aren't going to like the Lonely Ones as much, but we've picked up, even more fans than we lost in the transition.
Right.
It's a little bit different of a sound, a little more vintage rock and roll than, there's a lot less metal in it now at this point.
Right.
So it's cool though because there's different, very different like sounds and fan bases between the two. But there is a good shared amount between Boba Flex and the Lonely Ones, without a doubt.
So how'd that work out when the two crowds mixed when you guys were doing the Boba Flex shows?
Oh, that was cool, man. It's tough for me to remember who's there for who at this point. It's tough for me to remember which show I'm playing. You almost kind of get confused when we were doing the rehearsals for the show. I just know like I'd make plans to be somewhere at 3 o'clock and forget, are we doing Boba Flex or Lonely Ones today? And just wait for either Sean and Jake to show up or True to show up, and then I'd remember and pick up whatever instrument I'm supposed to be playing.
Yeah, yeah. So Jake moved on, started his own band, correct?
Yeah,
And you guys did a couple of shows with him.
we did the one in Columbus. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, it's been kind of a wild ride. I mean, like I said, before, you guys, Boba Flex was my first real interview. And then, I've done the Lonely Ones also, so that's been really cool. But I mean, I look at it as like I got a lot of respect for you guys because you guys were like, okay, we'll let this, newbie that doesn't know what the hell he's doing and talk to us and stuff. And Sean and Marty, of course, they had to razz me a little bit. And then our last one, man, you opened up a shit ton of doors for me because
thank you.
Shauna, she liked the interview and has been sending me, band after band after band, and I've picked up some other publicists, and I mean, it's been great, man. I mean, I had to take a couple months off to, due to some issues, but I'm glad to be back, and I mean, you're my second one since I started back. Actually, I did another one of her band's Sleep Signals last night.
I know Sleep Signals.
Yeah, yeah. So she's been killer, man. She's been great to me, and I mean, I know that she's does you guys right. So I mean, it's like, I definitely appreciate that opportunity that we had at the
Yeah,
Newport, even though it kind of
yeah,
sucked.
that was a good time, man.
I didn't get to see you. So
Yeah,
yeah, and that was, oh man, you had said something about releasing something that night that, you couldn't say anything about it, but you said there's going to be something tonight, and I missed that. I was just like, man, the damn COVID.
yep.
But so like I don't know, man. You guys getting any spare time? I mean, you just hanging out at all, or you just constantly rehearsing? You constantly on the road?
As much spare time as I can, but it's not much. I've picked up the habit of waking up real early. That's my spare time now. Is I'll set my alarm for like 6:30 in the morning, get up and just you know blow time until I got to start making phone calls around 9.
Ah.
That's very rock and roll of me, I know.
So, like, what part do you have in the business end of it?
Uh, a lot, a lot. I without getting too much into it, I end up handling a lot of the day to day stuff. Not entirely. Marty and I do a lot. Minute to minute. He and I are constantly on the phone. I think I've been driving this bus for about an hour so far, and he and I have already talked on the phone twice in this hour. And we're gonna go run a couple errands before we're in the studio tomorrow. Go do some stuff around 8 in the morning. It's just he and I are always swinging around.
Yeah, yeah, and that's I mean that was the same thing that Sean had said when I interviewed the both of them that they were constantly on the phone throwing out ideas back and forth and whatever. So I mean, is Sean, he's doing the artwork for your guys' albums, isn't he?
No,
No, okay, I thought he was. Who
no.
doing the
We have
artwork?
various different artists we use for the Lonely One stuff, but Sean handles the licensing or creation of the artwork, but he's not actually doing the pen to paper work for
Yeah,
Bobaflex. But the Lonely Ones, we have several different artists that we contract out for work.
awesome. So you talking about being in the studio? What studio do you guys use?
Sonic Lounge Studios in Grove City, Ohio.
I've heard a lot
There's
about that place.
there's a lot of tech stuff I could get into, but suffice it to say, it's the nicest studio I've ever been in.
Oh, okay. And yeah, you've been around for a minute because I mean, I know that you came from Washington, and
Mhm.
if I remember correctly, you played in a band out there.
I mean, just garage bands out there, never anything serious.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's been really cool watching you guys and your success. And I mean, it's you're are you guys still independent or are you under a label now?
We're independent currently.
Okay, yeah, and see, I mean that's what I've been talking about with a lot of these guys is, the independent thing is, I mean, yeah, it's great to be backed by a label and, blah blah blah, but I've also heard the bad side of that, and it's like independent, I think is really cool for the bands because you get to do what you want, I mean, and
Yeah.
this is your job. And that's what, a lot of people don't look at. It's, oh, they're just living the life and doing this and doing that, but it's still a job. I
Oh,
mean,
without a doubt.
right. And I mean, just like we said, there's a business into it and everything else. And if you guys, if you don't get out there and perform, you're not making no money. I mean, especially with, streaming and everything. I mean, it's album sales have just, gone,
Oh yeah,
there's nothing anymore. I mean, now vinyl's making a comeback, which I really enjoy because I love me some
it is.
vinyl.
It's the best selling physical medium
Right.
for a couple quarters in a row now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so how about that? You guys going to put out any vinyl?
Yeah, we're actually working out plans to not put out a full record on vinyl, but do some like limited run singles where you'll get an A side and a B side on a 45. Um, just to because I want something to give people like a physical piece of art to give
Hmm.
somebody. There's something rewarding to that. So we're working on figuring out the best logistics of that and pick what songs we want on there. Maybe we'll do multiple runs of different song combinations.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, a few other guys that I've talked to, they've said the same thing. You have something tangible and,
Yeah,
20 years down the road, you can be like, I made this,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I think that is, very important for you guys too. I mean, it's for me. I mean, I love the sound of vinyl. Back in the day when tapes were a big thing, I had
Mhm.
stacks and stacks of tapes, stacks of CDs. And I'm not much for streaming. I mean, like, a lot of the music that I listen to anymore because it comes through the press releases that these artists are sending me
Yeah,
or the publicists are sending me. I mean, I've got probably about, I don't know, 20, 30 different new friends on Facebook that are all musicians, and they'll hit me up like, hey, check this out, and I mean, the independent scene is, I honestly, I feel like better than the mainstream.
yeah. There's a lot of great things hiding underneath the cracks.
Hmm. And I mean, Columbus is definitely a good place for music.
Beautiful place.
I mean, as much as I, would love to be in like sunny Florida right now because it's kind of, cold and crappy out.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
I
not
mean,
so great down in Florida right now either. They're still recovering from Ian.
yeah, true. But I mean, it's just that, I mean, a lot of music comes through and comes out of Columbus. I mean, and
That's true.
we have, I have no idea what's ever going to happen with Rock on the Range or whatever it was, the Sonic Temple, if it's going to come
Mhm.
back or not. But I know we got incarceration, and it's just Ohio is, you would think it's Midwest cow pastures and stuff like that. But I mean, people I guess get bored of tipping cows and start playing music.
Yeah, yeah. When there's not as much to do, there's a lot more opportunity to do something great sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, hell, and guys, sleep signals. One of the guys said he lives up in Vancouver, which is was that about a couple hours from Tacoma?
Yeah, yeah. About 3 hours north, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys ever head out west recently or
Not yet with the lonely ones. Not yet with the lonely ones, but definitely working on all that. It's a lot of logistics go into crossing the mountains. You're limited to the amount of time of the year you can do it because it's not really safe for us to be driving ourselves
right?
in this bus across the mountains from early November.
Nope. Hold on a second there, Jimmy. I got signal issues here.
Can you hear me?
There we go. I had signal issues there. So you was talking about driving through the mountains.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going across the mountains adds a lot of complications in when you're planning routing tours because one, you're limited the amount of time of the year you can do it. Two, the drives are just a lot further with the way gas prices are right now.
Yeah.
You really got to be able to make it work in every market. You really can't afford to, break even
Right.
anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of that happens out west. I mean, I but there's a lot that happens in this area too. Like again, Ohio. I mean, you've got Wisconsin's got some festivals. Illinois just had a big festival. Kentucky just it and festivals anymore. They're like I don't know. They kind of seem to be the way to go. People just I mean, they flock to it. They see all their favorite bands and then they pick up on some new music and that's what I've really enjoyed about this is picking up on new music, man. Because I mean, I talk about how independent and is versus mainstream, but I also really still enjoy mainstream. I mean, I
Yeah.
turn on the Blitz, like, oh man, like I just got a publicist sent me something about the sick puppies. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to do
Mhm.
that, or highly suspects come in, and then there's another one that I was looking at, oh, from ashes to new. So I mean,
Mhm.
I still would like to do interviews with the mainstream bands, but I mean, again, I'm more of a I'm doing this thing on my own. Everything that I have, that my microphones, my computer, my software, all that stuff, I purchase myself, just like you guys do.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
so I mean, I feel you. When you're like, yeah, man, this there's these prices and this prices and that prices. I get it, but I mean, it's just like, man, it's kind of like you wish you could snap your fingers and just everything was laid out for you.
Yep, I know how you feel, man.
Yeah, and that's the mainstream thing. So I mean, it's like there's really. I mean, I don't have any journalism background or anything like that, so there's really no mainstream for me. It's just keep doing it and keep doing my thing, and I mean, I haven't even hit 100 views yet, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy talking to people like you. I enjoy
Hmm.
talking to, I love going to a show and doing a live interview, man. There's nothing like that. I mean,
Agreed. Yeah.
especially like I did one not too long ago where with oh my God, otherwise uh
Mm.
and they had just played. So, they're still all amped up and stuff and that was quite fun. You know,
Yeah. It's a good
it's
time.
you guys, pre-show, you're just laid back, like, yeah, I don't know, I'm getting ready to go do my thing, and but after the show, I really enjoy. So it's, I mean, it for me, it's just more of an enjoyment, you
Right.
know, and I mean, I know that again, it's your job, so you got to make money at it, but I mean, enjoyment's a big part of it too.
Without a doubt.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't try to make money at it if I didn't love doing it. It's
right.
hard work.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, a lot of people just. So I'm saying they don't realize it. I mean, especially like your big concerts like the stadium tour with Def Leppard and all them. I mean, there are so many people that are putting into all of that. Setting up, doing this, doing that. That it's like people don't realize how much of a job it is,
Oh yeah.
but I mean, you guys are damn good at it. I'll give you that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You do a good job. So, um, yeah, man, I just, like I said, wanted to check in on you guys. Shauna sent me the release for Bedroom Door, and I was like, yeah, man. I asked her, I said, so is it gonna be Jimmy or Marty? She said Jimmy. I said, cool. I said, yeah. I said he's a cool cat. So, but yeah, anyways, yeah, man, I'll let you get back to driving. You said you got some stuff to do, and I
Oh yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
you taking a few minutes to talk with me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Good to talk to you, Matt.
And we will look forward to some new music from the Lonely Ones. Like I said, man, everything so far has been pretty awesome. I mean, you got a hell of a groove going there. Good sound.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
All right, Jimmy. Well, you have a good evening, man. You be safe driving.
All right.
All right,
Cheers,
bro.
Matt. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.